Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something fascinating, the really deep connection between overcoming anxiety and finding what you might call your life's purpose, being on mission.
That's right. We're looking at sources that argue pretty strongly, actually, that the only reliable way out of chronic anxiety is by breaking free from these kind of rigid social roles and cultural expectations.
And the aim here is to unpack how you actually do that. We want to show you the path outlined in the source material towards finding this intensely joyful, unique life mission.
And, the very first thing that jumped out at us is almost counterintuitive. It completely flips the script on what people usually think purpose means.
Yeah, this idea that being on mission means avoiding mistakes. Forget it.
Exactly. We have this great story and anecdote about an EDI consultant, Yvonne Jackson. She's talking to this leadership team, right?
And they're totally stuck. Terrified, basically, of saying the wrong thing about diversity and inclusion, just paralyzed by the potential for error.
So they ask her, how do we handle this? How do we navigate all this tension without messing up? They wanted the safe path.
The rule book.
The rule book, yeah. And Yvonne's response was just brilliant, so freeing. She just looked at them and said, you're going to make mistakes, thousands of them.
Thousands.
And you're going to deal with people who are mad at you. There's no way around it. No sugarcoating.
So wait, so if you're basically guaranteed to mess up and make people mad, how does that reduce anxiety? They asked her, didn't they? Like, is this enjoyable for you?
Right. And her distinction here is crucial. She said something like, enjoyable. Strong word, no.
Okay.
But joyful, yes.
Yeah.
Because I think joy is what you feel when you're on mission. And that's key in the sources, this mission joy.
It's internal.
Yep.
Not about whether things are going smoothly outside.
Exactly. It's about alignment. And that joy, that's what keeps you going when things get tough, when people are mad at you. It's the persistence engine.
And that internal clarity, that drive, it became her value. The company looked at her and thought, you know what?
We can't afford not to hire her.
Right. Her lack of anxiety about the potential conflict, her joy in the mission itself, that was the asset they needed.
It totally reframes persistence.
Yeah.
It's not about achieving perfection. It's about engaging with alignment, with that inner sense of purpose.
Okay, so getting on mission. The sources describe this state as a commingling with creation. That sounds pretty big, maybe a little mystical.
It can sound that way, yeah. But really, it describes a state where you feel peaceful, yet you're intensely active. There's this fierce delight, the sources call it, and also deep contentment.
It's the direct opposite of that, that empty feeling, though. What was that all for?
Oh, it's so what moment. You hit the big goal, win the award, make the money, and then there's just nothing. Hollowness.
That hollowness comes from lacking what the sources call an innate fascination. That seems to be the core of it.
Yeah, that's your internal compass. Think about Damien, the guy who went from retail sales, hated watching the clock, to being a mechanic. Now, he still watches the clock, but it's because he wishes he had more time for the projects he's fascinated by.
Total shift.
Or Carolina, the occupational therapist. She's just genuinely captivated by the puzzle of helping kids learn basic life skills. When you tap into that fascination, it's apparently more of a right hemisphere thing.
Okay.
It actually pushes aside the anxiety, the mental chatter, which tends to be more left hemisphere.
So the way to beat the anxiety is literally to shift your brain's focus. Change what it pays attention to.
That's the core idea, but, and this is a big but, we need to understand the huge roadblock first.
Right. The culture itself.
Yeah, the source material is eerily clear on this. Our modern culture, especially what they call weird culture.
Weird. Let's unpack that.
Sure. It stands for Western, educated, industrialized, rich, democratic. And the argument is that this kind of culture actively works against purpose because it breeds anxiety. It's very left hemisphere dominant, analytical, materialistic, and it runs on this unspoken main directive. You exist to grab stuff, get more, acquire more.
Motivation through fear of not having enough.
Yeah.
Fear of lack.
Exactly. And that constant fear, that anxiety, is what keeps us stuck in roles that don't fit, afraid to pursue our actual purpose.
Which brings us to that whole too risky thing.
Yeah.
People feel a pull towards something. They're inner genius maybe, but they back off.
Oh, constantly. The money first myth is huge. Think of Pete the banker.
Right. The guy who loved travel, dreamed of teaching English abroad. Felt alive thinking about it.
Yeah. But then, faced with actually quitting his really well-paying international bank job, he just couldn't do it. deflated, said the money is just too good.
Golden handcuffs.
Totally. Even though the cage was suffocating him. And it's not just about quitting jobs. There's Lynette, the yoga teacher.
Ah, yeah, she developed her own unique method. Really innovative stuff.
Super excited about it. But then, boom, anxiety hits. What if people judge me? What if they think it's weird because I just made it up?
Fear of not having the official stamp of approval.
Exactly. Fear of judgment. It shut down her drive to share her gift. And they all say the same thing, right? I need to make enough money first, then I'll pursue my passion.
But the sources suggest that's backwards.
Completely backwards. The reality check seems to be people who prioritize purpose find ways to make it work financially. But people who wait for enough money...
I never feel like they have enough. The goalposts keep moving.
Always. And there's actually data on this, which is kind of terrifying. That 2010 lottery winner study.
Oh, right. 85% of American lottery winners.
Yeah.
Huge windfalls. Stayed in the workforce.
Yeah. Financially free, but they stayed. And not because they loved their jobs. It was anxiety. Deep existential anxiety.
Why, though? What were the reasons?
Several factors, all tied to that cultural trap. One was work-based identities. They literally defined themselves by their jobs. Didn't know who they were without the title.
Wow. Lost without the role.
And then this one's really sad. A narrow stimulation bandwidth. Meaning their jobs were their main, sometimes only, source of structure and stimulation. They genuinely didn't know what they'd do all day without a job telling them what to do.
Fear of the void. Fear of freedom, almost.
You got it. Fear of the unknown. And then layer on top work ethic-induced guilt, that deep-seated feeling that you must be productive or at least feel guilty if you're not.
That's the cultural mold right there.
Yeah.
Produce or feel bad.
That's it. Which leads us perfectly into how you break out. The key distinction. The mold versus the armature.
Okay, explain the clay metaphor. This is really helpful.
So think of social roles, the perfect mom, the tough guy, the successful executive. They're like a mold, designed to crank out identical copies. Everyone sits the same shape.
Right. Standardized.
But your true mission, your purpose, that's built on an armature. Imagine, like a unique stick figure, a basic structure made of wire. You pack the clay around that.
So every sculpture built on an armature is unique. It has its own form.
Exactly. You can't make two the same. And the only way to find your unique armature is to break the mold you've been pressed into, even if it's painful.
Which brings us back to Yvonne Jackson's story.
Yeah.
The really hard part.
Yeah. Her breaking point, her maximal pressure, was when her church community disfellowshipped her, shunned her completely for breaking one of their rules.
Told her she walked out dead. That's brutal.
Incredibly brutal, designed to force compliance, to push her back into the mold. The trauma was immense. But that absolute rejection, being treated like she was nothing.
It freed her.
In a way, yes. She said it freed her to obsessively figure out what was true for me. It shattered the external validation system completely.
And that intense, painful clarity became the foundation for her life's mission fighting injustice, which led to her EDI consulting. The mold breaking revealed the armature.
Precisely. Now, the good news is it doesn't always take that level of trauma. The sources talk about building a sanity quilt.
A sanity quilt. I like that.
Yeah, it's about stitching together things that genuinely interest you, things that bring you alive, even if they don't fit a standard career path. You invent your own role.
Like Chuck the consultant, laid off, feeling adrift.
Right. And he starts helping his son build a model rocket from scrap parts. Just something to do, costs nothing. But he found intense joy and purpose in it.
That little spark.
That spark. And it led him to realize he loved helping people solve problems, figure things out, which turned into a business coaching engineers who felt stuck. He quilted together his passion and a real need.
He found his armature. And that connects to Frederick Buchner's definition of vocation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Vocation, your true calling, is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. It's that perfect intersection, your unique joy meeting a genuine need.
Okay, so to actually live there, in that state of mission, the sources say there are 3 key requirements. We touched on the first one. Detaching from ill-fitting social roles. Breaking the mold.
Right. Number 2 is relaxing the left hemisphere's grip. Letting go of the need for the how-to manual, the rote knowledge.
So trusting intuition, curiosity.
Exactly. Operating more from that innate fascination we talked about, less from what I've been taught I should do.
And the third one, this sounds like the deepest level. Adopting a new way of doing things. Not doing. Or wei wu wei.
Yes. Wei Wu Wei. It's this ancient Taoist concept, and it's paradoxical. It means doing without doing or actionless action.
How does that even work? Sounds impossible.
It points to the ultimate state of being on mission where the sense of a separate doer dissolves. You merge with the action itself. It's often linked to peak performance flow states.
Okay, like when athletes talk about being in the zone.
Exactly like that. Or think about Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor's experience during her stroke. Her left brain went offline.
The analytical side.
Right. And suddenly she perceived reality differently. Her hand, the bathroom tiles, they weren't separate objects. They were clouds of intermingled energy.
Wow. So her right brain saw the interconnectedness.
That's the idea. The right hemisphere perceives the whole, the unity, without the left brain's need to separate and label everything. The I doing the seeing starts to dissolve.
And that's the feeling of Wei Wu Wei, that dissolution into the activity.
It's that razor's edge balance. You have all your skills totally integrated, deep mastery, but at the same time, you're completely relaxed. Effortless effort.
You're performing, but it doesn't feel like you are the one pulling the strings.
Exactly. The examples are amazing. Liz Gilbert talking about stories writing themselves through her. Alex the tracker, whose mind just vanishes and he becomes the landscape he's tracking in.
Where the heart surgeon feeling the patient's body, telling his hands what to do.
Yes. That sense of collaboration almost with the task itself. Or the dancer playing Joan of Arc who felt like she disappeared and Joan just stepped out onto that stage.
That's incredible. Okay, so that's the peak state. How do we even practice getting near that? It sounds pretty advanced.
It is, but there's a practice outlined in the sources. A 4-step process for shifting your attention, cultivating that Wei Bu Wei state, getting into flow more often.
Let's hear it. 4 steps.
Step 1, go UP, zoom out mentally, connect with the ultimate highest purpose of what you're doing, the big why.
So not just finish this report,
Right.
but contribute to a more just society or advance human understanding. That level.
Precisely. Anchor yourself way up there. Then immediately, step 2, go down, drop your focus right back to the very immediate, small, concrete task in front of you that serves that big purpose.
Like writing 1 sentence, tightening 1 bolt, making 1 phone call.
Exactly. The smallest next step. So you've got the huge scope and the tiny focus linked. Then comes the weird part.
Okay.
Step 3, go away. Deliberately stop thinking about the task at all.
Just walk away.
Walk away mentally. Read a book, take a walk, play a game, listen to music, anything unrelated. You need to give your brain, especially the nonlinear right hemisphere, space to process in the background. Let it wander.
So you're not forcing it. You're creating space for insight.
You got it. Which leads to step 4. Go back and in. Return to the task, but with a relaxed, open mind. Don't force the old way. See what new connections or ideas popped up while you were away.
And you just repeat this cycle. Go up, go down, go away, go back in.
Again and again, it trains your brain to shift out of that rigid left brain, must follow the rules mode, and into a more integrated flowing state, doing without forcing.
That state sounds incredibly absorbing, like the opposite of anxious clock watching.
It's the furthest extreme from anxiety. It is deep engagement. So when you zoom all the way back out, the message is pretty clear, isn't it?
Yeah. The anxiety comes from being stuck in roles that don't fit, chasing the money-first illusion.
But if you dare to break those role reels, follow that innate curiosity, you start building your own unique armature.
And that fuels the internal motivation, the mission joy, which actually calms the anxiety.
And makes you uniquely valuable. So valuable, people realize they can't afford not to hire you. Your alignment becomes your asset.
It ties into some really profound ideas too, doesn't it? Like Leela from Indian philosophies.
Yeah, divine play. The universe creating just for the joy of it. When we tap into our mission, it's like tapping into that creative force. You feel that splendor of recognition, the force inside you, connecting with the force all around you.
So when you really let go of control, trust that inner pull.
You find yourself doing things you didn't think you were capable of, because in a way, you aren't the one doing them anymore. You're participating in something larger.
That's a powerful place to land.
Yeah.
So the final thought for you listening is this. If you can quiet that anxiety just for a moment and step away from the roles you feel obligated to play,
The tough guy, the good girl, the responsible one, the money maker.
what action, what tiny step that brings you that flicker of fierce joy could meet some deep hunger in the world today? What mold are you waiting to break? What constraint are you ready to let go of?